Good morning and welcome to another brand new day. It's a lovely Wednesday, the 14th of July. You're listening to Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. Welcome to Everyday Money Matters. My name is Adu. And today on the show, of course, as always, is brought to you in partnership with Nairametrics. And I have with me our friends from Nairametrics live with me here on the show. Olumide is in the building, the finance man. Good morning, Olumide. How are you today?
Yeah, good morning, Aldo. I'm looking good. Yeah, same here. Thanks for having me.
I hope the rains did not come to your area.
No, it's not. I think it's just cloudy in Ikeja right now, but it's
Uh,
decent. The weather is cool.
we had a little bit of a shower here in the studio area in Ikoyi. Anyway, good to have you here. Of course, later on we'll be joined by other members of the money team, as always, from Nairametrics. And Nairametrics is your number one leading destination for news analysis in business, finance, market, and general information. You want to be a part of whatever is going on there, just go to nairametrics.com and you would have a lot to feed on in terms of the money market. Well, Olumide, before we get into all of the questions people have sent in to us, just considering all the changes we've been seeing in the world in the past couple of weeks, what's trending in the financial market?
The market is having an array of the same headlines that we've been seeing in last year. I'm talking about COVID-19, the variant strains that is prevailing is really creating concern, and that's somehow disrupted the energy markets. And that's very important for Nigeria, understanding that most of our major earnings come from that area, and the fact that crude oil prices has over more than 50%, and we are yet to see that materialize in the Nigerian economy. And that's because of growing unrest across the northeast and northwest zones, because of kidnapping issues and things like that, has affected certain sectors, especially consumer stocks. The fact that agricultural seems to be strong in the north has also dampened the momentum that we've been seeing on GDP year to year. So I think the narrative is just that until the fiscal officers get their acts together, the cloud seems to be growing darker by the day.
I was also listening to the news sometime in the course of the week, and I saw that they were talking about inflation in the US with food prices, and I was like, does the US have inflation?
Yeah, but Adu, I think on a year-to-year, yes, 5.4. That's
considering. Sorry,
yeah.
I know they do, but considering the values that we see here, I was just like, I mean, you will have 0.2%.
Yeah, but I think Nigeria is not bad. I think Nigeria is not bad. For now, Nigeria is moving at 17.9. We have a country like Argentina that has an inflation rate of 48%. We have a country that like Venezuela having inflation rate of over 200%. So for a frontier market, you need to understand that Nigeria is a frontier market. We are import driven. We have the economy is pretty young. It's not saturated and efficient as the world's most powerful economy. So when you look at that on this sentiments, you understand that Nigeria is not that bad. Yeah.
All right. Now, if you're listening to us, this is Everyday Money Matters. Like I mentioned to you, you have questions you want us to answer for you. I'm not the expert. Olumide is. And of course, the rest of the money team are also on ground to help answer your questions. Just send them to us on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp line is 0809-234-5913. And our friends from Nairametrics will be more than glad to help with that. Well, let's start with some of the questions that have been already shared with us. And this one is coming in and saying, good morning. I am a shareholder at GT. Will transition from GT to GT Holdings. Okay, will the transition from GT to GT Holdings have any effect on the share price?
On the near term, unlikely, because really what happens is that based on the company is just trying to diversify its functionality. And if you understand the Apex Bank rules, first of all, banks are not allowed to go into sectors. So that was how the holding company structure came in play. and we saw that with FBN and First Bank. They started that, and so it means that well, on the midterm, based on what they go into, there could be more upside. So the strategy is that they want to get more income and diversify. They're concentrating more on fintech and payment and services. So I think it's a good thing for the stock. Don't forget that that's one of the most valuable, in fact, it's the most valuable bank in Nigeria based on market value. And the fact that the team has a very strong corporate governance, I foresee that, well, the strategy might pay, but it's too early to say if that would materialize. But for the short term, I don't see any difference, any differential in the near term.
Okay. This person is also asking market-related questions. I'm going to combine like 2 or 3 of them. The first one is saying, what form of investment should I be looking at? The person is asking between the stock and bonds. Okay. So the combination question now is, I want to invest in mutual funds in Nigeria. What range of returns will you find permissible in the current market situation? I hope you
let me start with the second question. Mutual funds basically the passive form of investment, and people that don't have skills in the market can find that easy. All you just need to do is work to investment banks, But if based on 2020 returns, we saw that some mutual funds did a year-to-year more than 25 to about 40%. And that was really impressive. If you look at the fact that inflation is even hovering around 18%, you still get positive returns. And that's the fact that you didn't really put in so much of your time into it. So, but you see, the thing about mutual funds are that they are not certain. The sensitivity is that you might not get, you might get this year now. Like you look at Q1, the returns were not so impressive, and that's because Nigerian stocks have not been performing so good. But it's too early to call, and I feel that you need to be patient when you're going to mutual funds, and all you just need to do, like I said, go to your investment banks. You select the ones that you feel like you want to invest in. Then stocks, stock bonds. It's a very interesting question, because if you look at the fact that I said earlier that Nigerian stocks are not doing into so well, we still have stocks that hovered more than 1.3% in the last 3 months. If you look at insurance stocks, especially, and a tier 2 bank, I don't want to mention names, but a tier 2 bank has given a return of 42% in just the last quarter. And the most valuable indigenous oil company in Nigeria also has a 3 months return of about 40%. So that gives you credence that things are not so bad in the Nigerian stock market. But like I said again, if you are somebody that is very risk averse, that you don't want to put so much risk and so much pressure, well, the 30-year bond, depending on you must have sizable amount of funds. If not, I think you need to go in directly through your investment bank, where they put the funds for you in form of ETFs or mutual funds or whatever investment class. You get decent returns. The most pension funds and government institutions invest in that asset. So that's one place you can look at. But the thing is that you need to look at your horizon and your temperament for risk. Stocks are more riskier than bonds. So that's the narrative I do.
All right, then. Let's take a detour now. Let's go into cryptocurrency, which I know is your forte. This person says, I have about 600,000 Naira to invest in cryptocurrency. What smart chain contracts can I invest in? My investment horizon is 3 years, the person asks.
To be honest with him, I would say you should invest nothing, because I think if you've been following Nairametrics articles, you've been following our articles, you won't have asked this question, because first of all, we are seeing a dark cloud on the most valuable crypto exchange. I'm talking on the biggest crypto exchange. I'm talking on Binance, and the fact that most of these projects he wants to invest on at that program gives you credence that there might be downsides. In fact, and another problem is that most of the projects on this smart contracts were poorly audited. So we've seen scams at record levels. So basically, 600,000 is just about $1,200, meaning that I think you should look at something more lucrative and creative. When you focus on intellectual capacity, increase its capacity, the market, yes, is too. I think the market is going to have more downsides because revolutions are clambering hard. You can see Bitcoin now at $32,000, and the fact that the Chinese are already hammering on the crypto market just suggests that it's a matter of time before Bitcoin breaks below 30. So I think that funds you can put it in other things. And now that the economy looks like it's picking momentum globally, you should focus on creative things. Agriculture is something very exciting. If you have that type 3 years horizon, well, I think you should look at agro funding and things like that. That's much more better than smart contract right now. I'm not saying the project is not, there are not good projects there, but you see the ongoing parameters going right now, people are losing funds because see the timing is wrong. The crypto market's bullish one is still in play, but it's cooling off. So entering the market right now might cost your your capital. That's the basic truth.
All right. Let's go back to some of the questions that our listeners are sending in. And this one is coming from WhatsApp. Let me just pull that up here. They are also asking market-related questions now. Crypto market, I mean. Says, good morning. Between these coins, this person is asking, Shiba Inu, Mama and Baby, and Mini Dog. I hope I pronounced them correctly. Which one is the best to buy?
There are meme coins, and I think the pioneer of the meme coins are the Dogecoin, and I think people need to understand the fundamentals behind these coins. First of all, I don't want to comment on that, but like I said, the same narrative is that for me, I don't see any of those mentioned right now because their fundamentals are not so solid. And one of the things that keep Dogecoin gaining such relevance, and is because it has powerful backers, Elon Musk and Mark Cuban. But look at the price has dropped from 73 cents to 20 cents, but still has given thousands of percent gain. So you see, there are a lot of mimic coins trying to copy that narrative. So the earlier buyers had made a lot of money, but I think the coins now, the returns now, you look at quarter days, they're not doing too well. So I thought the investor, the intelligent buyers should just hold and then look at something much more, much more realistic because these coins, most of them will go under, in a couple of months.
Okay, let me take another one from our WhatsApp listeners and our live radio listeners here. Says, good morning, Money Team. Good morning, Money Team. I'm an upcoming artist and I have gotten 3,000 followers on my Facebook page. How can I start making money with that number?
That's a very good one. Content, I think that has to do more with content, I'm a market person, but I think one of the good things about it means that he can empower, he can write on things, improve his communication skills. That's what we do at Nairametrics. We see most of the journalists and experts increasing their leverage on social media. So first of all, whatever he's doing, he needs to do them properly. He needs to do them very well. Then secondly, he needs to be disciplined. He needs to learn more because to gain more followers organically, you need to give followers things people want to understand. So basically, for example, as an artist, I think he just needs to have more learning curve in the game, and I think that will just be a matter of time before sponsors and he can monetize that page. But I think Loretta is in the house, so she can talk on that.
Good morning, everybody. I was just about to chime in on that. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Absolutely.
Okay, so content is king right now. So the same way we have gone from oil to data, we have content as another one of those, as another tool that people can leverage in earning as you're growing on. And we've been seeing a lot of it go on, particularly with how COVID moved a lot of us to the digital media. So everybody's consuming some kind of content or the other. We saw how TikTok literally came from nowhere and has now become one of the biggest things. So if you're an artist and your audience is increasing on Facebook, it means you are becoming much more of an influencer, and there is so much you can do with content, with the content you are creating. First, you need to be consistent. You need to be very consistent so that you can build a niche for yourself and build a name for yourself. In the process of doing that, you would increase your audience. Now, the next thing I would say is to diversify all of the platforms, so all your touch points for your audiences. Right now, you have Facebook, move to Instagram, move to maybe another one or two, particularly YouTube. I don't know what kind of artist is pretty broad, so I don't know what specific type of artistry it is, but you need to be on platforms that will pay you for the kind of content you're putting up. So YouTube, yes, is first on that list. Then on Instagram, people will tell you for you to advertise on my page, you need to pay 200,000. Some people are charging 1.5 million for them to post an ad, to run an ad for you. Build a community. There's so much you can do, and it starts from being consistent and growing your following. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Loretta. Good to have you on board and join us this morning. Well, just to reiterate, in case you do not know, you can always see the videos of this particular broadcast every single time after the show is done. Just go to YouTube at Nairametrics on YouTube. That's Nairametrics on YouTube, and you can watch the videos of the show again, listen to the questions being asked and how they were answered, and it can also help you in your understanding of the money markets. And more importantly, if you want something a little bit more personal, something more direct, and something more succinct, then you need to subscribe to the Stock Select newsletter. And for you to do that, you have to go to ssn.nairametrics.com, and when you subscribe there, you would get monthly recommendations on what to buy, what to hold, what to sell, how to coordinate in the stock market, how to maximize it and become a smarter investor. And trust me, it's better to have a compass when you're going to the stock market than to do guesswork. Anyway, let's get back into the questions, Olumide and Loretta. Here's another one. Are there any ESG investments I can make in the Nigerian market at the moment?
Well, let me, Olumide, I'll let you take over. But then this is particularly an interesting question because I have also considered it. So many people are talking about sustainable development. We're talking about changing the world, climate change, impact investing, and that's what ESG investments are. They're generally impact investing. ESG stands for environmental, social, and corporate governance. However, I feel the focus is majorly on impact investing. So it's majorly on investing for change. And in more foreign climates, in more Western climates, the focus is actually on the E, on environmental. In Nigeria, over the years, we have seen a level of impact investing with, federal government bonds specifically for, job creation or bonds that I think in 2017, there was a green investment. There's a green bond where you can invest in green projects and things like that. But beyond bonds, I do not think there is any, for example, I don't think there's any company on the stock market that says, hey, I'm doing good, invest in me because I'm doing good, right? But then there are so many limited liability regular companies. You see people like Recyclers doing amazing things with recycling. And now getting the funds to those people, I think they are private equity companies. There are private equity companies, there are investment banks that are, investing in these guys. But I wouldn't say there's any structured platform for you to make ESG investments right now. I would say at this point, I have more complex deals, more complex analysis of why social investing has to take a different turn, particularly in a country like Nigeria. But I would say beyond the bonds right now, if you want, there are some bonds that specifically say you can invest for socioeconomic growth or something like that. But beyond those bonds, you can just find somebody that is doing good near you and support them, somebody that is particularly doing something around, beyond recycling. There's a lot more we can do in terms of keeping the environment safe and, making sure that more people are socially equipped and all of that. So yeah, but I do not think they are companies on the NGX that you can, yeah. But I don't know if you have an answer.
Yeah, Loretta says it all, but I think let me just chip in a little part. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is particularly traditional when you understand the fact that most of the companies listed are the basic full stream consumer banking stuff like that. So we hardly see such narrative like you see in the advanced market. But we still have a few stocks in Nigeria. I don't want to mention the name, but if you look at, there's a medium cap stock that moved from dirty fossils to mineral resource. That's a form of trying to move to a kind of clean energy. So you can look at that. It's listed, not doing bad. Then also you need to understand that just like Loretta gave that insight, we have investment bankers that pull bond index ETFs around these sectors. You can have a view. We have those kind of investments. If you go to any of the top investment banks, they will give you whether local exposure or you want to look pan Africa, you can see all those. Then, if you are really inquisitive about making the easiest part is the private equity option that Loretta earlier said, we have a lot of startups springing up. The problem is that this industry is pretty new in Nigeria, so it take a while before we see a significant amount of presence in the stock market. But still, you can consider those options. It's just that private equity channels can be a bit opaque. It's not as easily accessible as going through the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Okay. Quickly now, another question from our radio audience. It says, "Good morning. I am a 70,000 Naira monthly earner, and I plan saving for accommodation. What strategy can I use?"
Yeah, I think Loretta should answer that.
Yeah, because I'm still processing the question in my head. So you earn 70,000 Naira and you want to save for rent, right? That's the question. Okay, there are so many factors. There are so many factors to consider. And the first question I would say is 70,000 Naira your only source of income? Because a lot of times we'll call the salary we're earning and then we forget that, with their side gigs and side jobs that we get cash from. But let's assume 70,000 is the only amount you're earning. How much are you spending? How much do you spend every month? For example, if your monthly expenses can be covered in 50,000 Naira, the figures are so scary. That's why I'm being careful. But yeah, if you say, for example, you can set aside 50% of your income, then it means you can set aside half, which is 35,000 for a period of time. But there are still so many factors. Where do you want to go? How soon do you want to invest? How soon do you want to move to this place? For example, if it is 70,000, but you're fine living with your parents for the next 2 years, then you don't have anything to worry about, or 3 years, But how soon is the need, or how pressing is the need for you to move to an apartment now? Then final question, very important question is, can you pull funds from other people? Getting an accommodation in any part, I don't know, did the person mention, I don't think the person mentioned Lagos, but in Lagos, I can tell you it can be very stressful, and it can be, your pockets would run dry if you try to do it alone. However, if you have one or two other friends that you can pull in funds together and then get an apartment together, then yeah, that'll work. I think.
Olubide, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, Loretta said that because I've basically think that that will be really very difficult for me to analyze how that person, especially if the person is married. But you see, what I'll just advise the person is that no matter what you earn, you have to live below your means, so your earning. So I think if you are married, try and ensure that at least you can squeeze out 20 to 30% out. And when you're able to do that, the risky assets is out of bounds. So basically what I would say is that there are high yielding account. We did a story on our metrics a few months ago on how you can invest with 100,000, and most of these investment bankers spoke about high yielding accounts, the fact that you can do some boost your intellectual capacity to generate. Because see, I do that amount is basically less than a year, and with the way inflation is moving and devaluation, that person's purchasing capacities at a very sad has a very sad outlook. So he needs to understand that the odds are against him. He needs to understand that he has serious issues at hand. So first of all, improving if he's not that educated, he can learn creative skills. Hairdressing, all these things, they pay a lot of money, and he needs to understand that it's not bad, but he has a lot to do. He has a lot to do. Yeah, he has a lot to do.
Okay, let me do. There's still some touch on that, but I don't want to take time because we're running out of time already. The first thing is how much money can you invest when you don't have a lot? Because again, risk-free assets are not working. So if you decide to invest in risky assets, it means the possibility of you losing your rental income, the money you are planning to save for rent, basically, you could lose all of it. So you can't really go into risky investment. And then the second thing which we talk about today is how low does your income need to be for you to keep on, investing?
No, I think you can invest as low as 20, 30. Like I said, you have investment banks that you can put your funds, that your funds, you get a statutory fixed amount of money. It might not be more than 100 basis points a year, but it's going to at least edge against inflation. So what I'm saying is that while he's waiting for options, he has to be generating alphas. And the safest thing he has to do is go for the safest investment so that he doesn't go into the poverty level. Yeah.
Very much. All right.
All right. Thank you, Olumide. Thank you, Loretta. I do appreciate it. I know that last question was a bit of a brain teaser, but thanks for your thoughts. Anyway, if you want more of this kind of financial, shall I say, analysis and a little bit of a pointer to what to do, just go to the Stock Select newsletter subscription page. That's ssn.nairametrics.com, and you can subscribe there. You get more analysis, that shall I say, discussions on all of these issues and more. And do not forget, you can watch this over again on YouTube at Nairametrics when you go there. Well, thank you, Olumide. Thank you, Loretta. You guys have a very blessed week ahead. And Olumide, happy birthday in arrears. I got at your birthday on Sunday.
Yeah.
Thanks for not sending my cake.
Oh, yeah, I'll post it to you through Bitcoin, through the blockchain network.
Okay. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Of course, coming up.